Welcome back everyone, I'm the not so special one and this is episode 7 of Garbage to Greatness, my European journeyman save on FM23. A couple of months have gone by in the game since you were last here in episode 6. No football action. As we know, we're in Sweden. We're just about to go into our second season, but there's a big old gap of 6 months between end of last season and start anew. However, that doesn't mean we haven't been busy. That transfer market has taken a hammering. After staying up last year, the squad needed an overhaul. We needed to get rid of all the deadwood that just about kept us up from relegation. We're trying to build a team now that can actually challenge in the 4th tier of Sweden. This video is going to show that. It's a transfer special. We're going to talk you through the new players that are coming in, give you an update on everything else that's gone on. Thanks for being here. Thanks again to my subscribers. And if you're new and you like what you see, please do hit that subscribe button. All your support is much appreciated. But for now, let's run that intro and get started. So you returned to me on the 31st of December 2022. It's the last day of the year. We're still in that big transition period between the end of last season and the start of the new season, which is still for 3 and a bit months away. But what it does mean is that there has been a World Cup. We've skipped through to the sort of second round stage here, so into the knockouts, and as you can see, Holland overcame USA, Denmark won a penalty shootout against real life winners Argentina, France and Mexico played out a draw which saw France go through on pens, whilst England overcame Senegal. Brazil and Croatia through, Croatia knocking out the Germans on a penalty shootout. And then it was Portugal who overcame Switzerland pretty comfortably, and Belgium with a narrow win against Spain. Through to the quarterfinals, Croatia overcome Brazil, again relatively easily. Denmark overcome Holland in 2 surprise results there. Other quarterfinals saw Belgium beat Portugal, and England were knocked out by France just as they were in real life, although it was a real life absentee in Karim Benzema who scored the 91st minute winner. Croatia overcome Denmark on pens in the first semi, and in the second semi it was France who beat Belgium. So it would be a Croatia-France final, which would be won by Croatia in extra time. Wow, a 95th minute equaliser to take it to extra time, and then a 120th minute winner. The France fans must have been absolutely distraught at the end of that. But yeah, so it was Croatia who won the World Cup. With regards to other things that have been going on here, I've obviously been busy in the transfer market. We've had a few players who are leaving the club or have left the club. I've got a few players that have joined already and will be joining. So the transfer window opens on the 12th of January, so 13 days away, and I have a lot of players joining the club. As you can see, there's a lot of changes happening on the 12th of January. This is players going out, players coming in. So what we'll do, we'll talk about what's happened already, and then we'll come back in 13 days time, still on this video, don't worry, don't go anywhere, and we'll talk through the new look squad, as it were. So let's go to my notes, because I've made notes of a few things that I need to update you on, or wanted to update you on. We have officially moved into the new season now, so the board have set the initial budgets. Initial wage budget for the season, 425 quid a week, and nothing in the transfer budget. No real surprise there. The club has got 35 grand in the bank, but I'll be honest with you, that's not income. We're not doing really well financially. The board just keep injecting money. Every couple of months, what I've noticed, or every sort of 6 weeks, the board just seem to inject about 20 grand into the club at a time. That doesn't seem to be building up as debt, so that does just seem that our board are investing that out of their own pocket. We're not taking out loans and getting the club in debt, which at least is one positive, I suppose. Nothing in the transfer budget, like I said. We're currently spending 356 quid per week, but we are pretty much going to max out that 413. as our committed spending is 403. So we're a tenner off with the changes that are still to come. That's where we are financially before we go into the new season. The board's competition expectations were quite simple. They just wanted us to avoid relegation, as you all know. That is pretty much the target here for the next 5 years. Not much ambition, but at the same time not much pressure. And the fixtures for the new season have officially been released. So we do have an opening game against IFK Lulea, which won't be an easy one. They finished, I believe it was second or third last season, and just about missed out on promotion. So if we look, yep, they finished second. Failed to go up via the playoffs, but they're going to present a very, very tough opener for us. Second game will be against Carlslands. Their history, looking back, I don't remember playing them last year. That will be because they wasn't in our division, but again, they did finish second at this level. So we couldn't have asked for a more difficult start to the new season, and it's going to be a real test, those first couple of games. Moving forward, what I will be doing, we won't be watching every single game. I wanted to do that at the back end of last season. It was the first club I've been at. We were in a relegation battle from the start, so I felt it was important to show every game. But going into next season, what we'll do is I will be playing a little bit. I'll then update you. We'll maybe watch 1 or 2 games per video. Really want to try and get these video times down to about half an hour from the 40-minute mark, so they're easier for you guys to digest and watch as and when they come up. So where we are at the moment with players in and out of the club, really there isn't much to tell you, because as I said, most happens in the next in the next window, which is still 13 days away. With regards to, if we just come out of this and go to released players, that you can see there are a few released players. Santeri Circa, who did feature for me a little bit at the end of last season. He did play 22 games for the club, but wasn't fantastic. I was happy to let him go. Joe Cadge, again, only played 7 times. Really wasn't involved for me at all. Jon Uronen, he was the number 1 keeper before I came in, dropped him straight away. He didn't play a single minute for me, so I was happy to let him go. You can see how poor he was. 16 games before my arrival, 6.39 average rating. I believe he was a massive reason for where the club was when I joined. And the one that I'm the most upset about is the departure of Jimmy Kovalainen. Without a doubt, this guy was my best player when I took over at the club. Easily the most creative player that we had. Yeah, I was gutted to let him go. I tried several times to offer him a new contract. He just wasn't having it. It wasn't really a money thing. He just basically kept firing back at me, saying the club wasn't good enough. The club wasn't good enough to match his ambitions. So he's left on a free transfer. No one, by the looks of things, is in a situation where they're looking to pick him up. I will be monitoring him over the next 4 months, because potentially if by April Jimmy hasn't found himself a new club, I might be able to persuade him to come back. He may realise that, hang on a minute, no one else wants me, and I do still want to play football, so I shall go back, but we'll see. I will be keeping an eye on his situation, but for the moment I'm gutted to have lost him. With regards to the new arrivals, so far, players in, don't think we really have anything as much. Free transfers, cash clause transfers. No, I don't think there's anything really to show you. I don't think anyone's actually joined us yet that wasn't here. I'm just going to remind myself by looking at the squad and just double check. I know there is one player has joined the club already, and that is central midfielder Philip Ozer. So Ozer comes in, he's joined us. He played 19 times for Skalibo, I think that's how you say it. Again at this level last year, scored 3 goals for them. The reason I've brought him in, he is all round, he's better than what I had at the club already. He is, I suppose, for this level, a box-to-box ball winner, although his work rate isn't that high. But then none of the players really do seem to have a massive work rate. So He's our first player in. Quite happy to have him here. Quite versatile. Can play a number of roles in central midfield. I don't know yet if I'm going to be looking at sticking with the same 4-4-2 tactic. What I've done is I've sort of saturated the squad with new players, and then I'm going to have a look at what's available to me. I've gone for players that I like the look of initially in different areas of the pitch, and then I'm going to have a look and possibly create a new tactic. I'll probably save the one we used at the back end of the season because we was doing okay with it. But I'm probably going to create something new with the new players as well and have a look at that as well. But Philip Ozier is the first player to join Ita Hugdals ready for our new season. So it's now 13 days later in our game. That magic date of the 12th of January has hit. And as you can see from my screen, we do have new arrivals into the club. The assistant report is showing that they're varied in ratings, but it's good to see 3.5 stars at least 3 times on this page. Generally, the fans are happy with the business that we're doing. Let's check out what we've got. First into the club is Issa Demir, 37-year-old veteran fullback. There is nothing wrong with adding a little bit of experience to your team at this level. Nothing wrong with it at all. These are the guys that can carry you over the line, carry you to success, and Issa Demir at right back is a huge step up on what we had. Predominantly single digit attributes to be expected at this level. We're not looking for wonder kids. We're not looking for superstars. We're looking for old and reliable, and Issa Demir is exactly that. If we just have a look at our little comparison button here, and our number one right back last year was Ulrich Verhagen. Now Verhagen wasn't terrible for us, but if we have a look, Issa Demir is better than him in virtually every single attribute. Yes, with his age, we'd expect him to be slower. We'd expect him not to be quite so agile. His natural fitness isn't going to be as good. But generally, technically and mentally, he is miles above what we had last year. So first in, Issa Demir, very happy. Another 37-year-old in Amor Mimic comes in alongside. Another Swede. I'm really looking to build a backbone of Swedish players for this season as well. One thing I noticed when I come into the club last year is we were represented by so many nationalities, and half the players couldn't even speak the same language. So I think there was a real barrier on the pitch. So we're trying to rectify that with a lot of Swedes into the team and trying to build a bit of camaraderie in the dressing room as well that way. Now, Amor Mimic comes in, again, being a bit older. The physical stats aren't great. However, he is by far and away, I mean, with Jimmy Kovalainen leaving the club and me being absolutely distraught, Amor Mimic has made me feel a little bit better about it. I've only classed him as a fringe player, just in case I brought in more people. He was happy to take that on his £30 a week. That's fine. He may end up becoming a regular starter. He might become a star player. He's certainly got the ability on these stats. Passing and vision, 11 and 11. Technique, 11. Yeah, he is our new creative force in central midfield. Next in, new goalkeeper, Jacob Aduama. This guy's not a Swede. It's actually an American. An American keeper's come in, 30 years old. The reason I've gone for him, he was available, and that does, when you're down at this level, that a lot of the decisions you make come down on the availability. But if we look at his history last year, granted he was in the lower league in Sweden, but he was awesome for, I think that's Okaro. He conceded to only 21 goals in 18 games, 6 clean sheets, but his average rating was awesome. I just thought, looking for a new number one keeper, this is my man. This is my man, and I'm very happy to have him at the team. I think he could make a big difference having a decent keeper between the sticks this year. Sebastian Hansen's next up, new fullback, new left back. Again, it's a significant upgrade on the left back position, just like it was bringing Issa Demir in at right back. Our number one left back last year was Christian Figuerio. He's now left the club. He's just left on a free. Happy to see him go. I think his average rating last year was something like 6.36, nowhere near good enough. And Sebastian Hansen has much better stats than him in every single area. And I'm hoping that the upgrade is going to prove it on the pitch, be proven on the pitch with better performances. The fullback positions are so important to me, and I'm really glad to have Hansen. He's only 21. He's another Swedish player in the team. Again, significant upgrades. Surprised that my assistant's only rating him as a 2.5 star. I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. The fans are happy with the signing. I'm happy with the signing. That's all that matters. Next in is a teenager, 19-year-old Ardian Dashi. Again, fans are pleased. 3-star rating from the assistant. He's another central midfielder. Yeah, I mean, with these central midfielders, what I'm trying to give myself is options, people that can play all different roles. My only real worry with Ardian Dashi is his determination is very low. It is a worry, but with everything else being relatively strong, I was willing to take a punt. I mean, he's not on any wages as well. He's effectively playing for free until he actually plays. I think he gets, I can't remember what I'm actually paying him, 20 quid if he plays a game. He gets tenner if he's an unused sub. But he's not taking anything out of the wage bill, and based on that, I thought, even though this is a concern with the determination, Ardian Dashi was worth a punt in such a way and boosts our numbers to cover injuries and stuff. A bit more experience then comes in at centre back in the form of Victor Larsson, 3.5 star rated player, potentially could go straight in at centre back and become one of our best players in the back line. Could be really important to us this year. Yeah, again, stats don't absolutely blow you away, but again, I've gone for a player that overperformed for his club last year. He was at IFK Tidaholm in the lower divisions. He has plenty of experience at this level as well with them prior to their relegation a couple of seasons ago. But he played 18 times, scored an average rating of 7.26, safe as houses. I would imagine from the lower division to this division, there's probably not a lot of quality difference in most of the teams. So based on that, I'm hoping he's going to make that step up with us and he can perform just as well for us this year as he did for Tidaholm last year. So that's all the new arrivals on the permanent side. We do have a couple of loans as well. So we've actually raided the loan market. 2 players are coming in. 2 players, weirdly enough, from the same team. 2 teenagers. The first one is Ollie Olmstrom. Ollie Olmstrom, I'm loving the name. Ollie Olmstrom is an 18-year-old midfielder and I guess, again, boosts them options. He's got good work rate, good teamwork, strong determination. He's got some good physical stats at this level as well. I like him. He's probably a little bit more defensive than what I've had, although his tackling's not great. But with these stats, the determination, the work rate, the anticipation is there. Yeah, he's probably a little bit more defensive, so it gives me something different, a different option. He's coming from a team that's in the 2nd tier, so 2 tiers above us as well. So hopefully his training has been at a much higher standard over the last 3 seasons, and that could tell for us as well. But Ollie Olmstrom's the first loanee. The second one is Marin Hagota, who also comes in from the same team. Basically, he's giving me a new type of striker. A lot of my strikers at the club tend to be like target men, target forwards, big strong lads without much pace, and they're not the greatest finishers. Whereas Martin Hagota, at 18 years old, could well be our top goal scorer. I'm hopefully looking to pair him with Teddy Johnson up front this season, and I think they could form a formidable partnership. There's no reason why not. And he's here on loan. We're not paying anything towards the 2 loanees' wages, so again, they take nothing off the wage bill. With all the new signings coming in, we are now overspending slightly, but we've got no one else to leave, but the squad's looking quite big. We don't play a huge amount of games. We'll play 26 times across the season. We don't need the biggest of squad. I am going to be looking to offload at least one of these keepers. So that's going to save potentially a tenner a week. Yeah, I'll look to trim this squad slightly. I'm not quite sure who will make way yet. There are a couple of players that are probably Hansen, although he's not on any wages, so he's not going to save me any money. But I'll have a look. I'll be looking to trim. I do want to get down, if I can, certainly under or closer to. I may have a little fiddle about with the scouting budget. Once we've got 18 grand sitting there, if I can put some of that over here in transfer budget, jiggle that around into the wage budget, then we can do that. We can make that happen. I'm sure I can satisfy the board in this area. With regards to what I've got, I mean, I've got at least a couple of goalies. I've got 4 players that play centre back, potentially 5. I've got left wing backs, I've got right wing backs, I've got that position covered. I've got plenty of central midfielders. Andre Svensson, granted, I would like another left-sided winger. We've got Lukaku on the right. We're probably thin in the winger areas. However, Lukaku and Svensson can play an attacking central midfield role. If I don't really want to focus on those positions out wide, I could play some form of diamond formation, playing through the middle with pushing on wing back, something like that. There could be a few more changes to come, but for now, that's where we're at. That's the squad. That's the new arrivals. Good to see a lot more Swedes in the team. We're building a nice core. I'm going to go away. I'm going to now set up some friendlies. I'm not going to bore you through them. I don't think that's worth it. So I'm going to play around with tactics throughout the friendlies, throughout pre-season. I'll be back with episode 8, which will be ready to start the new campaign. We will have played some friendlies, so we'll review that. We'll look at the tactic that I've set up and why I've gone for it. And we'll kick off the new season. Season 2 as Ita Hugdal's manager. Wish me luck, guys. Although don't wish me luck yet, because I won't be playing them games until the next episode. But for now, I'm going to go do my thing. Please subscribe if you like what you've seen. Thanks again for watching. As always, really appreciate it. And I will see you very soon. Tomorrow's video should be up at 12:30. Doing daily videos now, so every single episode of Garbage to Greatness will be back on 12:30 every single day. That's 12:30 lunchtime, not 12:30 at night. But yep, you can look out for those videos, guys. And thanks again for your support.